So I have to admit, Valentine's Day is my favorite holiday. I'm really soppy and romantic at heart, and that there's a day to celebrate love like this makes me really happy. But alongside this joy, there is a tinge of melancholy, which comes with recalling a period of falling in love for the first time and thinking about people I've loved in the past and that I can't be with any longer. So alongside being really thankful and happy that I can be with somebody I love, there is also this sadness that is mixed in with it, and especially thinking about teenage years and this very intense period where there are so many passionate feelings and experiencing that for the very first time. And I definitely wouldn't want to go back to that period, or I don't envy anybody that is going through this experience for the first time. But I was thinking about watching the new season of Heartstopper on Netflix, and because I want to watch the second season and then cancel Netflix because it's way too expensive. And so I want to go through and watch the second season because I loved the first season. I thought it was so adorable, and I wish I'd had that to watch when I was a teenager. But since I'd watched that first season, but not actually read the book, I went back and read the graphic novel for the very first time. So I wanted to give some thoughts and feelings and impressions about this book, which is so beautiful and so delicate and such a wonderful story that gets at the complexity of so many of those teenage emotions, and made me think back on this period of my own life and recall it and sift through a lot of the feelings that I experienced at the time but didn't really entirely understand. But now thinking back on it in retrospect and having a much clearer picture of that period, because I think when we go through these intense, passionate feelings during this period of our life and feeling love for the first time, it is so difficult to get objective perspective on it. I mean, you're so feeling the moment that it's really difficult to understand everything that you're going through. And so reading this, I found really poignant, and but also just the story of Nick and Charlie and their very tender experience of falling in love and admitting their feelings to each other is so beautifully done. And the drawings in this novel go alongside it perfectly and really express all of these complex feelings that the characters are going through. And so when Charlie's desperately wondering whether Nick might like him as more than a friend, you can really see it all in his face. And the detail of the leaves which go between the pictures and the blocks of text that are so expressive of emotion that it's just gorgeous. And how that's carried over into the series as well, I think is beautifully done. Charlie's awkwardness paired alongside Nick's confidence is captured so well, and then how that switches halfway through the story as Nick becomes unsure about his feelings and what he wants. And I love this section where Nick calls out Charlie for apologizing a lot and saying sorry, and I adore this because I had the same thing with my partner when I first met him. He said sorry so much, and I couldn't help calling him out on it and saying, like, you really don't need to apologize all the time. To which his response, of course, was, oh, sorry. There's also this very intense and frightening confrontation that Charlie has with Ben, who he's been secretly seeing, but Ben is not out, and Charlie is the only openly gay student at the school. So Ben just expects that he's going to secretly see him, but this isn't what Charlie wants. And so to have this confrontation, it really reminded me of my own period in high school because I was the only out person at my school as well. And I had an incident like this with another male student who just expected that I would do things with him because I was gay and that was acknowledged. And so he just expected that I would go along with it. But I really wasn't prepared to do anything like that. And it was really scary. And it created all these feelings of frustration and anger in me. I couldn't really tell anybody about it, or felt like I couldn't, because I didn't think anybody would understand or sympathize with me, that there was this idea that it was expected and that I was kind of asking for it because I was openly gay. And so I think there is this real onus put on students and young people that are brave enough to come out, and this feeling and expectation of people that are closeted and who aren't willing to share that yet, and just expects people to engage in these secret relationships with them. And so this scene really resonated with me, and I think it's really powerful, and that Oseman portrayed it in this way. I mean, I wish I had somebody like Nick that could have come to my defense and that I could have confided in, like Charlie does with him. And it's so beautiful how this is portrayed, and how their friendship gradually builds into something more. And then there are all these very sweet moments, like when Nick gives Charlie his address for the first time, and it feels like this stage in confidence and a confession that you want to escalate your friendship into one that occurs in real life outside of the school. And how this builds into Nick's crisis about his own sexuality, and knowing that he has these more tender feelings for Charlie, and then wondering, like, well, what does that mean about my sexuality? And frantically wondering how that should be defined and how that might be expressed, and how this culminates with Charlie getting Nick to finally admit his feelings. And when they have this first kiss, it's such a gorgeous moment and so heartbreaking, and it just made me fall in love with these characters and feel really protective of them and their relationship and how it's developing, and knowing all of the difficulty that they're probably going to experience along the way. It's just a perfect way to end the book, and makes me really want to know what happens next. So I do want to read the second book, but also to watch the second series before I cancel Netflix. And I have watched the very first episode, and at the end of that, how Charlie says everything is going to be perfect now, and that feels almost ominous, because you know that it's not going to be a smooth ride for them in their relationship, especially since Nick isn't out yet, and the difficulty of trying to navigate that. I'm really interested to see how that's gonna play out. But I love this book, and like I said, I really wish it was around when I was a teenager, and I'm grateful that it is out there now and that it's resonating with so many young people. It's just absolutely beautifully done. So thank you for watching me discuss this book. If you have any thoughts or feelings about Heartstopper, please let me know about them in the comments below, or if you're interested in reading it or watching the series now. But I hope you have a very happy Valentine's Day, and that your life is filled with love, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.